How did you end up teaching in general, and how did you end up teaching at Pius?
Teaching in general was a choice that was very attractive to me. It was very available in those years because of the growth of schools, and they were looking for teachers, and I thought I'd try that. Ending up at Pius, that's where I had started school when it was only 90 students, so I was always connected to Pius.
Describe your first day of teaching.
I think one of the things I remember was it was just the first day, and of course Father Baxter was someone was known to be respected and maybe a little bit of fear. And I'd
Even
agreed,
amongst teachers.
even amongst teachers, especially rookies. So you wanted to please them, and I had agreed to coach football with them. So that day at lunch hour, we went out for a lunch with some people. Wasn't actual teaching as much as a get together. Students were gone, and we were supposed to have a football practice, and I was late for. So that's one of the memories, having to face him late for a practice.
Is it a fair statement to say that Father Baxter's bark was worse than his bite?
He had a bite too. No, nobody wanted to test it, believe me. I remember as a student, I was a boarder there when I first started. This was back in the late 50s, and he was prefect of the dorm, and lights were out at 9 o'clock, and we were supposed to be in bed. Some guys would put radios underneath and play them under their pillow. He'd walk through with lights out, and all we heard one night was a smash. And in the morning when we got up, that guy's radio, that student's radio, was on the floor. It had just met a cement wall, and there wasn't much left of it. So there was a bite.
How did Father Baxter react slash adapt to having girls?
Well, that's an interesting story. Father Baxter would be very vocal, and some would say intimidating, but when he first did that, when girls came, one of them started to cry right in the classroom. The tears were coming out, and he was so shocked and didn't realize what it would be. And one of the teachers sort of told him, "Father, you can't do that with girls." And after that, he just mellowed. It was a different teacher from there on. So it was part of his growth process, and he looks back on it, and we were very close, so I knew him so well. And he sort of welcomed that. He loved that the girls were part of Pius. He thought it really added a tremendous dimension. It enriched the culture of the school.
There's a classic picture of you that ended up in the yearbook where he's pointing victory. I think you're both being hoisted up by people. What was that all about?
Oh, we coached junior football for many years, had great success in it. I think in the 70s, we won 3 out of 4 championships, maybe 4 out of 5 in junior football. And it was just one of those things. The Pious spirit was unbelievable, and football was a central gathering thing in the fall. And it was the beginning of the school year, and everyone was revved up. We would pack the stadiums that we played in.
What were your own high school days like?
I put them back as pretty tremendous. I grew up in a small country area, and this was sort of into the city, even though Pius then was on the edge of the city. Parkwood Hills didn't exist. It was all cornfields. So being a boarder, I only got home once a month, and that was hard in grade 9, but we had tremendous friendships in the school. We were very close. There were less than 100 students that first year, and in the dorm there might be 50 of them. The rest were what we call day dogs. They commuted from home. So it was a very rewarding experience, and to this day, if we ever meet people that were part of that, it's like a friendship immediately.
It's instant, isn't it?
The reconnection is instant. Over those years, particularly by 76, the school was growing tremendously. So we had a lot of new teachers coming then, which added a lot of vigor to it and partying among staff. But we knew everyone. We not only knew the teachers, we knew their spouse, we knew their children, and we were very close. We met regularly, went together to bars on Friday nights, and it was a close relationship. Particular, I guess my closest was with Father Baxter. We were very close because probably connection. He had taught me originally his first year of teaching. Then I became a close friend. He baptized my children. We coached together for years. We were in the science department together, and right to his death, we were very, very close.
A lot of the staff was priests.
Yeah, they had started the school. Some of the original priests from the second year, Father Lunny, Father Baxter, were still there, and they were sort of our guide. Father Lunny was a real spirit builder, but he also let you know when he hired you what he expected from you in terms of giving to the school, and it was much more than getting a paycheck and getting out of there on a Friday. It was, what else could you give?
Some things you miss about those years.
Oh, I miss the energy that was there in the school. The constant, it was like a world unto itself. It's like a big hospital or something. That high school was your social life. It was, your family was involved. You knew so many students. And one of the wonderful things about teaching is years later re-meeting those students and staying contacted with them. I was fortunate at the time to get the opportunities. I always considered a blessing that I was able to teach. And it was one of the most enjoyable careers I could imagine. And I have two children today who are teachers, and they love it too. And
You think they took up teaching because they saw the enjoyment you were having?
I think so. I think the biggest thing is the range of things you could do in teaching. You know, you could coach if you like that. You could teach debating clubs. You could be with the music, the drama, if that was a skill that you were able to flourish as well as the children. And then you had, you worked hard. I think one of the amazing things people don't realize, we taught when I started, 7 classes of about 30 students. That was the schedule. By the first interviews, you were lucky to know which students were which, but we would teach 210 students a year. So over a long career at Pius, you met and got to know an awful lot of students.
One day or one week over again at Pius.
It's not one day, there are many, but certainly days where we succeeded as a school with teams you'd worked on. I experienced many great days of victories on the basketball courts where we won major championships in football, with the whole Pious crowd there supporting you on, with all of that energy sort of coming at one point. The masses were a big thing. We met every day. And that was something so important that I don't think anyone gets together. We sat down and we shared together side by side, and we had that spiritual strength. And some days we met out in the quad where the whole school would be there, and it was a powerful thing of unifying. And I think it was major for the spirit of the school.
So this is our 50th. What do you think somebody who shows up at this reunion and they haven't seen these guys in decades, but they went to school together, how do those go?
Well, I think they're so excited at first, and the emotions come back. It's as though you're the same age as when you were there, even though so much has changed. They'll retell. Your biggest problem when you get there is not meeting everyone and getting to talk to everyone. But it'll be a wonderful experience. I've been at 50s, and they are just, you would hate to miss them.
And, you know, we're doing it over 3 nights, so there's a chance to...
That's a wonderful idea, because I've missed some because it was one night.
Right.
And I think the idea it's not on a weekend is another really good idea.
You say to some of my classmates that are maybe on the fence about going?
You will never regret it, but you will regret if you don't go. There, you will have missed something, a chance to re-experience the energy that was part of your life in those days. And the 70s were an absolutely wonderful time in the educational system in Canada, everything. It's one of the most positive times ever.
Let's say I'm someone that just wasn't that social in high school. I didn't really have any really close friends, or very few. How will I do at this reunion?
I think you'll be, everyone will be welcoming. I've seen that. I've met people at reunions I never taught, didn't know, and you become friends and you just broaden that experience. and the pious spirit will take over, believe me.
Neighbor coming to steal food or beer.
We just caught a thief in here.
Just, wow. Okay, what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is my cave. I shared a bit with my good friend Cameron, who's a neighbor but a great friend, and we will often spend a lot of the winter in here at other times. And I love building. I love the smell of sawdust and creativity. This is the area that I hope to spend a lot of time. I haven't, but this is an area for carving. Okay. So this was a loon I gave to my father as a gift, probably one of the first I have done, but I enjoyed the painting and the shaping. Loons are my favorite. That's just a smaller one. Another version. I've done quite a few that I've given away.
You painted as you
Yeah, painting is the hard part for me.
Yeah.
You have to go through so many layers of paint.
And this is you here too, this
Yeah, that's just started trying that. Notice the deer built in with the trees.
Oh yeah. What do you got to show me here and what you can remember about?
Well, surprisingly, this is the first page of 76. John has passed, of course, but he was a great vice principal throughout and leader with the staff.
Would you tell me a little more about his personality? He was at St. Joe's.
Yeah, he went from St. Joe's, came over vice principal. Very popular with the students, fair. He had a lot of respect of teachers and that, but he was a fun person. Mike Bain, very entertaining. He'd done some marvelous things the last few years, just crossed the Alps the year before hiking.
Let's come back over here for a second to
Father Lunny.
Yeah. What do you remember about him?
Father Lunny was one of the formative teachers for me. Father Lunny, Father Baxter, and Father Bedard both taught me, as did Dave Albert.
They taught you as a student?
Yeah, as a student. And they were all first-year teachers. And I think when you asked why did you become a teacher, they were part of it. I admire them and loved what they were doing and knew the impact they had on people. All of them had a great impact, every one of them.
How about Dave Albert?
Oh, Dave Albert was one of the most popular teachers ever at Pias. He was legendary, and he was a great athlete, good teacher, great teacher, but really a friend to students, and never heard him raise his voice or be angry or just solid.
Who have we got here?
Kay Andrews was a charming, very talented lady. Her daughter taught, Mary taught at Pias also. I think she's in the same yearbook.
Okay.
Certainly was a great contributor to Pias. Okay, Mr. Bergen, once again a popular teacher there. Very good with the students. Patient. He was part of the group that was so much fun. Margie Chaput, she's married now, but in Ottawa. She taught many of the students and a very popular teacher, phys ed, and coached a lot.
Peter Daly.
Yeah, Peter was another former student who became a teacher, and that was a common thing that Father Lunny hired former students to sort of keep the spirit of Pius going, the connection with the past. Peter was key in a million things, involved in everything. Very dramatic. Father Gavin he taught me, a fabulous athlete, fabulous preacher. All of us as students admired him. He was just fun and never saw him mad. Father Jenkins was another
He taught me law.
He taught me also. And so then I worked with him later. He was, we always remember in the younger years, he was a great golfer and exceptional. But we used to, in boarding school, you know, his was one of the rooms that you'd go gather around in the evenings and just to get together for the guys, talk. Ted was always with great ideas, creative, great football coach. He won many championships there, and players really liked him. Roddy was a great friend of ours, head of the phys ed department, and he had the inevitable thing of dividing up practice times where all the teachers were fighting for their share of the limited gyms and so forth. Sister Noonan, she was so key, the right-hand man to Father Lunny, right-hand man, tremendous organizer and so forth, teacher, just central to the schools. Well, Father Nugent was vice principal at one time, strong disciplinarian.
Character too, though.
A character, yeah, a lot of fun. Jerry taught with us, former student at Pias, taught for a few years, was my age, then went on to Mytel, was very successful in that, running his own business. Mr. Ty was one of those very generous people, always doing things for others. These were all wonderful teachers, and we were all very close and shared social life together. You will never regret it, but you will regret if you don't go. You will have missed something, a chance to re-experience the energy that was part of your life in those days.